Hello, welcome to Always Yarn First. I'm Lindsay. I'm a knitter, crocheter, and spinner from Central Arkansas. I work at ArkansasYarnCo and I'm also a virtual assistant. You can find me online, stay up with my updated yarn adventures at AlwaysYarnFirst on Instagram and Ravelry. Welcome in, everybody. It's been a few weeks. Thought I'd pop in quick when my daughter is gone for a school thing. Yes, welcome. If you are new here, thank you so much for stopping in. I hope there's something you enjoy. I do a traditional podcast style. This is episode 109, and I name every episode title after a song title because before my love of yarn was my love of music. So I find something that is related to my crafts or life, or I'm just feeling this week. So this week's episode is Only You by the Platters. We're going real old school because I've pretty much been working on one project. It is a new project to you, unless you follow me on Instagram, so you will see that one. All right, let's get right into it. I feel like it's gonna be a pretty short one, but that's okay. So this week, I do have a few finished objects. I have new cast-ons. I have one whip, and then I have a couple of exciting acquisitions from the shop I work from, ArkansasYarnCo, so you'll want to stick around to the end of that. And then I'll always end with some kind of gratitude. So let's get into finished objects. I have two. And actually the first one I don't have here, so I will input a picture. I literally finished this project right after the podcast. I remember showing it and be like, yeah, I'm so close to getting this done. And I literally finished. So I will put in a picture here. This is Love the Winter hat by Emily Dormier. I used Malabrigo Rios in the magenta and the ivory color. This is a free pattern. I use this because I will be teaching at the ArkansasYarnCo Spring Retreat a beginner colorwork class, and this is what we are going to make. The picture the product I made here with the picture is a kid's size. I believe there is baby, kids, adult small, and adult large. So it is a worsted weight Malabrigo Rios, and it was very quick, very enjoyable, very easy. If you've never tried colorwork to do a two color, it's pretty fun. You should try it. All right, I finished one other thing, and this is a ginormous dishcloth. So have you ever had a project where you're working along on it and you're like, oh, the pattern is like with this, it's nondescript how big it has to be. So it's like, okay, do at least this many repeats and then basically go until you want. And so you do a repeat and you're like, oh, that seems way too small. And then you're like, I have a ways to go. And then you just keep going. And then like next thing you know, like I'm like, oh, I think this is good. And then I bind off and I'm like, oh my God, this thing is so huge. So this is a dishcloth, face cloth, whatever. I've been doing a lot of these this year because I have a bunch of scraps of cotton, partial skeins of cotton that I have, so I'm just trying to use some up. I am working through the Knitpicks one pattern per week. Obviously, I'm nowhere near caught up, but each pattern for their 52 weeks is free, so you can go on their website, check them out. This is the Bouquet of Bows, so you can see the little bows that it makes. So I'm not even mad that it's so big because if I use it, well, whether I use it as a face cloth, you could get your whole face in here to wash your whole face instead of a little dainty washcloth. And I like a dishcloth also that can like fit my hand because I usually use it for scrubbing down the counters. So it's fine. And I haven't blocked this. It's lumpy frumpy, but I basically put it aside to show it, and it's gonna immediately get put in my rotation and then through the washer, through the dryer. So no need to block this. And I don't know what color this is. I'm pretty sure this one was a Dishy because I can tell by the way the yarn is caked. Usually most of my cotton stash, unless it's super old Lily and Cream, which I haven't bought for years and years, most of it is either Knitpicks Dishy, which I enjoy, or the Queensland Cotton, which is at ArkansasYarnCo. All right, that is it for my finished objects. So I have 2 new cast-ons. Let's get into it. I did start my next dishcloth. This is another Knitpicks, so it is a free pattern. I have the page here. This is what it will look like. It's called the Gazebo dishcloth, and this one is crochet. It's very easy. If you're a crocheter, you can be able to see that all this is crocheting in the front posts, crocheting in the back posts, over and over and over again. So I haven't gotten very far, but I just decided to use the same yarn color because I had it out. So I've cast on, and yeah, haven't got started very far. This is where we're at. So you can see those are crocheted around the front posts, and then those are crocheted around the back posts because they're like leaning in. I just think these Knitpicks patterns are meant to be wider because this one's pretty wide too. But yeah, not much to say on that. I haven't gotten very far. I am using a US, let's see, a G6, which is a 4mm hook on that. But as we go into my next cast on, which is pretty much everything I've been working on. So this one got started, then I got this next one, and that has been the majority of my time. So what is it? It is the LYS shawl from Casapinka. So when this comes out, see, I don't have my watch on me because it's charging. This Saturday is local yarn shop day, and Casapinka usually, although last year she didn't have one, usually she puts out a free pattern, being free that she gives it to the local yarn stores that are participating, which we are, and we are able to give it free to customers that come in that day that purchase the yarn needed to make the shawl. If you purchase the yarn, and then you can get the pattern for free. So it was kind of last-ish minute where we got the pattern and we realized, oh, it'd be nice if we had a sample of what it looks like. So I was given ArkansasYarnCo Yummy Sparkle in Wedding Cake, and this one is Rose, which was one of the subscription colors from last year's Sock Yarn Society subscription. So it takes 2 different skeins, and she does suggest a white skein. If you're not really into white, you could do like whatever you consider neutral skein for you. So here is where I'm at. And FYI, I'm not going to be done with this by Saturday. But the pattern repeats over and over. So you start at the very bottom, and you'll see where I have all of these markers is each new repeat of the same stitches. So we start there. You see it has a couple different sections. And basically, besides the first one, which is small, then you do 5 more times. So I've done 1, 2, 3, I'm in my third out of 5. So I'm just trying to get this as much done as possible, and then probably just put some stitch stoppers on it, and we'll give it a good block so we can have it out at the shop so you can get a good idea of what it looks like. But you can tell the repeats there, but these colors are looking really nice together. yeah, so definitely come on Saturday at Arkansas Yarn Co. if we are your local yarn shop. If not, definitely support your local yarn shop and ask if they have the Casapinka patterns, because this will be free if you buy 2 different skeins of fingering weight yarn. It's pretty. I really like the texture to it. Pretty easy knit, and you are just changing colors every time you come back, so you don't have to carry it up, you just switch by the time the yarn comes back. Very easy to manage with your colors, and not a bunch of ends to weave in as you go along. Yes, this is taking up most all of my knitting time. All right, that is my last new cast on. I did, before I got involved with this one, I pulled out an old whip. So let's get into the one whip I have touched. All right, I was feeling like, oh, I want to get some garments done for the spring and summer. And then I'm like, I know I have some spring and summer garments on my needles that I haven't finished. So I decided after the last podcast to go looking to see what I had, and if there was anything that wouldn't take too many brain thoughts to just pick up. And I found one. If I can get a little bit untangled here. All right. This is my Sand and Sky tank. This is by Rachel Brockman, and I'm using Bamboo Pop sock. So again, fingering weight yarn, and the colorway Corals and Waves. And this pattern is obviously bottom up. You cast on and you basically take the 2 yarns. If you look up the pattern, I literally chose the colors they had. These are my colors anyways, kind of like the beachy colors. Let's see, I'm trying to minimize how much stray yarn is hanging out here. So this is the Corals. You see it has the blue in there. And this is the Waves. A bunch of different blues. So all this is right now is, this is like an A-line shaped garment. So you're taking these 2 yarns and you are switching them every so many rows. And then after a certain amount of rows, also you're doing a decrease around. So I'm just slowly decreasing around until I get to a certain number of stitches. Should be a certain amount of length. So I have this so I know when I hit the decrease round to not forget it. But otherwise, I'm just knitting with 1 decrease round and switching color. So very, very easy. If you've never knit in Bamboo Pop before, it's so lovely. And I would love to be able to finish this and get some wear out of it this summer. I think the colors just look cool. There's no rhyme or reason to them because they're both color changing. And like I said, that Corals one has some blue in it. So sometimes that one is like, there's like extra blue because both the Corals had the blue parts and then I knit with the blue one, the Waves. I just think it looks really nice together. I feel like even so this is where I was last time I showed it. So I, worked on this quite a bit. This is one of my ArkansasYarnCo, which matches. And then I even have stitch stoppers that I feel like matched Be the Light. But look at that. It has like the Corals and the blue on it. It's making me very, very happy. And this is pretty mindless. Like I said, I have my row counter at my beginning of round so that I know how, when I need to do the decrease and when I need to switch rows. Other than that, I'm just knitting. So as long as I pay attention to the row counter when I get to it, I am totally fine and on track. So this one has been very enjoyable to pick up. Oh, I'm tangled here. There we go. So yeah, Really lovely. I definitely suggest this yarn if you have never worked with it. It feels so nice and cool. Take that from a hot-blooded person. And it's lovely to knit with also. And just like that, that is my making. I do have a tiny bit of spinning because Sunday I kind of got a little burnt out with just working on my shawl, and I needed something else, and I was really craving to spin. So I mentioned before, I have two dadeless e-spinners, the Sparrow, which is the smaller one, and the Starling, which is the larger one. The Sparrow I like to do my spinning on. They're smaller, but then I usually get the Sparrow or the Starling out, which can fit more, and I do my plying because I'm building the yarn quicker, and that way from there is when I will go on the Nitty Knotty and skein up the yarn. So I like having the big bobbins for that. I got out pretty much all of my Sparrow is full, so I got out, remember these, so this one and this one, these have been what I had been spinning on. They are and I just lost it in my head. Desert Panda, got it. And these are the both I got from a trunk show she had at the store last year. And they're the same type of yarn, so I decided to get one braid of each of these, and I'm plying them together. So without trying to make a mess here. But here is what I have so far. That might be better. Lots of nubs in it. I don't care. I love nubby yarn. Yeah, so I took a well-deserved spinning break on Sunday because this shawl is nice, but we know if you've been here before, I'm usually not a one project girl. So I was getting quite bored with just working on this shawl, and I needed a little break. So that is truly all my making. But let's talk a little bit about some acquisitions. And all my acquisitions are from ArkansasYarnCo and are new things, which is exciting. And these are all available right now in our shop. All right, so first of all, we got a new base of earth yarn in. We have quite a few bases of earth yarn, which is lovely, but we got this base in so many colors and I was very intrigued. I got black. This is Earth Yarns. It is called Trill. It is a fingering weight, 80% merino, 20% linen. So it has that linen blend. That linen is good for hotter weather. I've been intrigued. I've tried to make a linen garment and it like killed my hands. So I have wanted to, I actually did make a linen blend garment, but it was like a blend of 3 things before and I can't remember what they were. It was a special base Lori had. But this is a merino linen. So it does feel a little rustic, but the thing with linen is once you wash it, it really blooms and softens. So I'm hoping the merino linen will just be easier on my hands when I knit it. I did get black because we have a lot of beautiful colors in stock. However, I was looking at all the colors and of course there was different blues, which I love. And I'm just like, oh, I have a lot in that. Oh, I have a lot in that. And I'm like, I'm thinking a tank top is what I'm thinking, obviously. And I'm just like, what would I wear a lot and that I could, you know, dress up? And I just thought this would be lovely for a tank top. I can't remember which one I had thought of, but you know, since I'm not, until I started, I don't know for sure, but I wanted to get this because actually if you see right here, this Cosmo sparkly yarn, you see these 3 ones that are kind of brownish, that's called Sand, which again is from ArkansasYarnCo. This is what happens when you work at a yarn store. We get a new yarn in and we get different colors, and you know, you're opening the boxes and you get to put them in the system and photograph them and put them away, and you're like, ooh, I really love this color. And so then you have the dilemma of, do I need this color? No. But then I'm like, oh, I really like it though. And I really like this one special color. But what would I make with it? Well, I don't know. So in this case, this was my favorite color that we came in. We got 1 bag of each color. Again, tons of beautiful colors. We got 2 bags of this. And I'm like, oh, I don't need to worry about it. We have 2 bags of it. It'll be around. I can figure out what I want to use it for. It sold out like immediately. Then it was on back order. So, and did I need it right then? No, but I was so mad. I'm like, okay, we're never going to get this color in. And I should have just bought the dumb color while we had it. So this time, when this came in, and we don't really have any other merino linen blends in the shop, I'm like, you know what? I am buying enough for a garment, because if I don't and it sells out, and then, you know, we get it in a month or 2 because it's back ordered or whatever, by then we're already fully in hot season. Will I get it knit and done in time? No. This maybe still not, but I have the option to get it done for the summer. That was my mindset on this. I was not holding back on this one, and I am not sad about it. All right, the other thing I got last weekend, Lori went to do a trunk show. She does every year for the North Texas Yarn Crawl. It includes Dallas area, and she goes to Juju Knits. She does a trunk show. She always dyes special things. So this year, for the last few weeks beforehand, she has been dyeing a special collection of Bridgerton colors. She has had this in her mind for quite a while, and so we have been seeing the colors before the trunk show, but these were not going to be made available until the trunk show, and then when she came back with whatever yarn. Well, there was one color that when she dyed it, I'm like, oh, I hope you don't sell out of that one, because I really want that color. And she came back with some, but not as many of this color as some of the other ones. So again, I did not wait, because even though she may have the recipe to re-dye some of these colors, at the time, Anna couldn't help her dye, and sometimes when Anna helps, she remembers exactly how they did it. So I wasn't guaranteed that I would get this. And so I got, and this is gonna blow out because it is mostly white, but when I get it closer, you can see the light, delicate pinks. And this is my favorite thing Lori does, is these delicate speckles. It may not look for much, but if you love yarn and attention to detail the way I do, these ones where these, you can see like literally the dots up here. You can see each individual dot. They're not like, this one's kind of like bleeding out a little more, but you see all these little dots. Those are so good, where that dot lands on one stitch. And so when you have it knit up, you have like mostly white or this pale pink, but then you have one stitch with one dot of color. And I think that is the coolest part. So I went through every skein of this. Not only did I get 2 of them, but I went through every skein to pick the ones that I wanted with the delicate speckles. And I am so happy. This one is called Secrets the Modiste Keep. This is the Yummy Plush, which is her 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. Again, don't know what I'm making with this. This will go with a million things. I'm happy to add it to my stash. All right, And with that, that is all the making yarny talk I have. So we'll end off with a bit of gratitude before we say goodbye. And I'd say my gratitude this week is finding a balance between life, home life, and work. I DoorDash on the side along with my job at the yarn shop. And sometimes that means when you have a job like that where you can work as much as little as possible, sometimes when you're earning money, you just think, well, I'll just keep going a little more. I'll just keep going a little bit more. Well, I could use that extra money. And for me, it ended up being where I'm like, okay, I have no time at home. Like I'm coming home and I'm exhausted. I do nothing. And I didn't like how that was. So I'm trying to really mark in time of, okay, I can work this, but then I'm gonna actually enjoy some of my day off from the shop. So yesterday I did work a little bit. I worked like breakfast and lunch hours, and then I called my daughter who I knew was home and I said, hey, have you eaten lunch yet? Let's go eat lunch. And so she hadn't yet. She had a late breakfast, so it was perfect. So I came home, we went and found a new beautiful little coffee tea sandwich shop that was so cute, and it was a beautiful day outside yesterday. We sat outside and had lunch together, and then we went to a garden center that Jessa had suggested that was nearby where we live, because my daughter had bought like a giant beautiful planter from Kroger the other day and wanted to find something for it. So we went and we looked around. She bought some beautiful plants to put in there, and then I bought a chime because I used to have like a little wind chime, and I think that they're so calming and relaxing, and I found a really cute one. And I bought a wind chime, and she bought plants, and they're potted outside, so it's just like a special little thing. And yesterday it was windy, and so I could hear those chimes just like delicately ringing, and it just brought me a lot of joy. So I hope that you all are doing very well. Make sure that if you're interested, you shop the Bridgerton collection, which is available now. Also, our Earth Yarns Trill in a bunch of beautiful colors. And I hope to see you in a few weeks. Bye.